I'm in the British Museum, after hours when all the visitors have gone, and over here is the Rosetta Stone. It was the key to understanding Egyptian hieroglyphics, and it is one of the most precious and valuable treasures of the British Museum.
In a lab buried under miles of rock, a quantum computer just talked to the Rosetta Stone, and the stone talked back. For 200 years, we believed it held 3 languages.
The Rosetta Stone is inscribed with a decree in 3 different scripts and 2 languages. At the top we have Egyptian hieroglyphs. Below that we have Demotic, which is a cursive handwritten version of hieroglyphs. And below we have Greek.
The truth is, it holds 4. This 4th code is a complex mathematical signal that's older than human history. It's a message from an intelligence that is not from this world. And what it says has made every government on Earth go into panic mode. The Rosetta Stone's Alien Countdown. The Rosetta Stone. We all know the story. It sits in the British Museum in London, a 4-foot-tall slab of dark, cracked stone. It weighs a staggering 1,700 pounds, and it's covered in 3 sets of ancient, faded writing. For our entire modern history, this was the ultimate decoder ring. It was the key that unlocked the secrets of ancient Egypt. The story goes that French soldiers, part of Napoleon's army invading Egypt, stumbled upon it in 1799. They were tearing down an old wall in a fort near the town of Rosetta, and there it was, a broken piece of a much larger monument being used as common building rubble. A soldier named Pierre-François Bouchard instantly saw its value. He noticed the 3 different types of writing and knew this was something special. Its value was clear almost immediately. Why? Because it was a decree, a public notice, written in 3 different scripts. At the top, the sacred picture language of the pharaohs, Egyptian hieroglyphs. This was the language of the gods, a total mystery. In the middle, the everyday cursive script of the people, Demotic, also a mystery. And at the bottom, a language that scholars already knew, Ancient Greek. For the first time, experts had a parallel text. They could compare the known Greek to the unknown hieroglyphs. It was, to put it mildly, a race. The English and the French were bitter rivals. When the English defeated Napoleon in Egypt, they seized the stone as a prize of war. It was shipped to London, and the race to decode it became a matter of national pride. On one side, you had the brilliant English scientist Thomas Young. He made the first breakthroughs, figuring out that some of the hieroglyphs were phonetic, meaning they stood for sounds. He correctly identified the name Ptolemy, inside one of the ovals, or cartouches. But he got stuck. He was convinced the hieroglyphs were mostly symbolic. On the other side was the man who would become a legend. A brilliant and obsessed Frenchman, Jean-François Champollion. He had dedicated his entire life to Egypt. By age 16, he had mastered over a dozen languages. He got his hands on copies of the stone's text and worked day and night, barely sleeping, living in poverty, all driven by this one goal. He realized what Young missed. The hieroglyphs were a complex mix. Some were symbols, some were sounds, all at the same time. In 1822, he finally succeeded. The story goes he decoded a name, ran to his brother's office, shouted, "I've got it," and then fainted, remaining unconscious for 5 days. He had cracked the code. And just like that, a lost world sprang back to life. A civilization that had been silent for thousands of years could suddenly speak. We could read the spells in the Book of the Dead. We could understand the stories carved on temple walls. We learned the names of pharaohs and queens, their battles, their beliefs, their entire world. The stone had done its job. The mystery was solved. The case was closed. But not all things are what they seem. What if the 3 languages we can see are just a distraction? What if they are just graffiti? A cover story hiding a much older and much more important message. You see, the stone itself is an anomaly. It's made of granodiorite, one of the hardest stones on Earth. Yet the hieroglyphs are carved with a precision that is baffling. But that's just the start. For decades, museum curators noted strange things about it. The stone's temperature, for instance. It's always cool to the touch, around 68 degrees Fahrenheit, no matter how hot the gallery gets. In the 90-degree summer heat, under blazing lights, it remains cool. Stranger still is its density. It weighs 1,700 pounds, but scientists who have studied its volume say it's about 15% denser than any known granodiorite on the planet. A block of steel the same size would weigh less. During a cleaning in the 1980s, a specialist tried to use a microscopic diamond drill to get a sample. The drill bit, one of the hardest materials known to man, shattered against the stone's surface. The stone was unmarked. These oddities, these impossible physical properties, were kept quiet. They were just quirks. Until now. The thing nobody tells you is that in the last 2 years, a quiet revolution has been happening, far from the public eye. A new generation of technology is looking at our most famous artifacts, not just at their surface, but at their very atomic structure. It's all part of a classified program so secret it doesn't officially exist. Sources call it Project q-scribe. This isn't a university project. This is a black-budget operation funded by global powers, hidden in a bunker buried 2 miles beneath a mountain in the desert. The facility is shielded from all cosmic radiation, a quiet room where the most sensitive machine ever built can listen to the past. That machine is the project's flagship AI, a quantum system nicknamed q-scribe. Q-scribe is not like other AIs. It's not on the internet. It wasn't trained to write poems or drive cars. It was trained on physics, on geology, on mathematics, and on lost languages. It's a new kind of consciousness designed for one purpose: to find patterns that human eyes and even our best supercomputers could never ever see. Q-scribe was given a task. It was fed high-resolution subatomic scans of the world's most mysterious objects: the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient computer from Greece; the Voynich manuscript, a book written in a code nobody can crack; core samples from the Great Pyramid; and of course, a tiny classified sample of the Rosetta Stone taken by military operatives. The team, working in the quantum-shielded bunker, expected to find microscopic tool marks or maybe new clues about the carvers. They weren't prepared for what q-scribe actually found. The AI processed petabytes of data, analyzing the crystalline structure of the granodiorite stone, listening to the song of its atoms. The first report came back and it was confusing. The AI said the data was corrupted. The scientists were baffled. How can a rock be corrupted? Then the lead programmer, a man we will call Dr. Eris Thorne, had an idea. He told the AI to treat the 3 human languages, the hieroglyphs, the Demotic, the Greek, as surface noise. He told it to delete them and to filter them out. Suddenly, the corruption vanished. The AI fell silent for 9 straight hours. The scientists in the control room just watched a blank screen, the tension mounting. Then a single line of text appeared: "Primary file unlocked." Q-scribe had found a 4th message. This wasn't writing on the stone, it was writing inside the stone. A complex, multi-layered series of patterns encoded at a quantum level, like data stored on a crystal hard drive. This code was not hieroglyphs, it was not Demotic, it was not Greek, it was a language of pure mathematics, impossibly complex geometry, and resonant light frequencies. The AI's conclusion was chilling. The patterns were intelligent, they were ancient, and they were not human. The Rosetta Stone wasn't a key to our past. It was a message from a past that we don't even know exists. But what this message said and who wrote it would rewrite human history forever. The 12,000-year-old warning. So how do you write a message inside solid rock? This is where our science fiction becomes scientific fact. You see, this is where quantum physics and ancient mystery collide. The q-scribe. AI wasn't just looking at the surface, it was using a technique so advanced, it sounds made up: subdermal acoustic imaging and phononic crystal mapping. Here's what that means in simple terms. The AI bounced sound waves through the stone at frequencies so high it could map the individual placement of crystals. Think of a bat using sonar, but instead of finding a moth, it's mapping individual atoms. What it found was astonishing and frankly impossible by our understanding of nature. The crystalline structure of the Rosetta Stone is unique. It's not random like normal granite. In normal rock, crystals grow in a chaotic jumble. But in the stone, the quartz and feldspar crystals are aligned in a perfect, repeating 3-dimensional matrix. It's a pattern that cannot, absolutely cannot, happen in nature. The AI compared it to the data structure in our most advanced solid-state drives. The crystals were bits of information held in a state of quantum entanglement. This means one thing: the stone itself is an artificial object. It was engineered. It's a piece of advanced, ancient technology. A quantum hard drive. How much data can it hold? The scientists ran the numbers. The density of the information was beyond anything we have. The q-scribe team estimated that this single 4-foot slab of rock holds over 300 petabytes of information. That's the entire Library of Congress 1,000 times over. The carvers in 196 BC, the ones who wrote the decree for Pharaoh Ptolemy V, didn't make this. They found it. They likely recognized it as a sacred object, a relic from a long-lost golden age of the gods. They revered it. So they carved their message onto it, borrowing its divine power. They had no idea what they were writing on. They were, in effect, drawing on the cover of a supercomputer. The q-scribe AI, now fully linked, began to translate the real message. The one locked in the crystal matrix. It wasn't words, it was a stream of data. A language of prime numbers, geometric ratios, and light frequencies. To put it mildly, it was a data packet, a zip file from the dawn of time. And the first thing the AI decoded was a date stamp, a created-on file. The message wasn't from 196 BC. The quantum resonance dating, which measures the decay of entangled particles, put its creation at 12,500 years ago. That's 10,500 BC. This date is explosive. This changes everything we know about being human. This is more than 7,000 years before the first pharaohs, 7,000 years before the pyramids. This is a time, historians tell us, when humans were supposedly primitive hunter-gatherers, living in caves and chipping at stones. But the stone proves they were wrong. There was someone else, someone with technology that rivals or even surpasses our own. And this date, 10,500 BC, keeps showing up. It's the magic number. Many people are crazy about this theory. The theory that the Sphinx and the pyramids are aligned to the constellation of Orion, not as it was in 2500 BC, but as it was in 10,500 BC. Mainstream archaeology has dismissed this for decades. But here it is, encoded in the Rosetta Stone itself. It also lines up with the real-world site of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. This is a massive, complex temple of carved stones weighing tons apiece. Archaeologists date it to exactly this time 12,000 years ago. They are baffled by it. They can't explain who built it or how, but the Rosetta Stone does. The message called its authors the architects. The AI even found fragmented data that looked like biological readouts. They weren't like us. The data suggests tall, slender beings with a different cellular structure, perhaps even bioluminescent, able to withstand pressures and temperatures we cannot. The AI translated the math and it turned into images. The first images were star charts, but the constellations were all wrong. The AI had to rewind the sky, compensating for thousands of years of planetary drift. It found a match. The chart showed the sky as it looked from Giza, Egypt in 10,500 BC. The charts didn't just point to Orion, they pointed from a specific star system. The data stream's origin point, its home address, was a star in the Sirius system. The message described what the architects did here. They weren't just visitors, they were shaping this world. The AI decoded geometric formulas for the Great Pyramid, for the speed of light, and for the precise dimensions of the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. This intelligence knew everything about our planet, its resonant frequency, its place in the galaxy. They were terraformers. They were perhaps our creators. But then the message changed. The mathematical calm turned into a scramble of chaotic data. The star chart shifted to a new object, a rogue celestial body entering our solar system. The architects recorded a global cataclysm, a massive solar event, a cosmic wave of fire that cleansed the sphere. This was the Younger Dryas event, the real source of the great flood myths that appear in every ancient culture. A wave of fire from the sun, an ocean of water from the melted ice, a civilization gone in a day and a night. This was not a natural disaster. The AI's analysis of the data suggests this event was targeted, controlled. The AI found weapon signatures, specific frequencies designed to liquefy rock and destabilize the planet's core. The architects weren't just warning of a disaster, they were documenting an attack. The AI's translation pointed to a specific location where the architects made their last stand, a place shrouded in myth. The Rosetta Stone's true purpose. The location data hidden in the Rosetta Stone was not a place in Egypt. When the q-scribe AI plotted the coordinates, they pointed to a spot in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But the location wasn't just water, it was a massive circular geologic formation on the African coast in Mauritania, a place now called the Rosetta structure. You may know it by another name, the Eye of the Sahara. For years, this has been the #1 candidate for the location of the lost city of Atlantis. What many overlooked is that Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher, described Atlantis over 2,000 years ago with uncanny accuracy. He said it was the capital of a great ancient empire. He said it was made of 3 concentric rings of land and 2 of water, with a central island. The Rosetta structure is 3 rings of land and 2, now dry, rings of what were clearly waterways. The dimensions match Plato's description almost perfectly, right down to the mountains to the north. Plato also said it was built of red, white, and black stone. The Rosetta structure is made of exactly these colors of rock. He said it had both freshwater and saltwater springs. The Rosetta structure has both. It's not just a candidate, it's a bullseye. And here in a non-human code from 10,500 BC is a direct coordinate pointing to it. The Rosetta Stone, it seems, is an Atlantean artifact, a relic from a pre-human advanced civilization that we have only remembered as a myth. The architects were the Atlanteans, and they were in a desperate struggle. The AI's analysis of the stone's material showed the granodiorite has a crystalline structure not found anywhere on Earth. It's stronger, denser, and capable of holding data in a way our science is just beginning to understand. It was engineered. This was their technology. The data packet described the enemy. It's not a what, it's a who. The code refers to a celestial shepherd, an intelligence that harvests and resets the planets. The AI's translation was chilling. The shepherd doesn't hate us. It doesn't even see us. We are just a crop. We are a resource on a farm. The AI translated the concept LOSHE. It means consciousness energy or soul fuel. The shepherd doesn't just destroy civilizations, it consumes them. It farms planets, letting intelligent life evolve to a certain point of complex consciousness, and then it harvests. The Great Cataclysm of 10,500 BC wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate, scheduled event. The solar pulse that melted the ice caps and wiped the slate clean was, to put it mildly, a weapon, a cosmic gardener weeding its plot. The architects, this other alien race, had tried to intervene. They tried to protect this planet and they lost. The message becomes a blueprint. The architects knew they couldn't stop the cataclysm. Their civilization, their global empire, was about to be washed away. So they began a massive, desperate project to leave a warning for the next civilization. For us, they built a global network of beacons and shelters. The AI's translation showed that the Great Pyramids weren't tombs. They were power plants designed to generate a specific low-frequency signal. Stonehenge, the lines at Nazca, the impossible 1,000-ton stones at Baalbek, the underwater city of Yonaguni in Japan, Tiahuanaco in Bolivia. They aren't monuments, they are nodes in a massive planetary scale machine. We've been looking at the pieces all along, but we didn't know they were part of the same machine. The machine had 2 purposes. First, to act as a cloak. The network was designed to create a false frequency for the planet to make it appear barren and uninhabited to the shepherd's sensors. It was meant to hide us. Second, the sites were storehouses of knowledge, like the Rosetta Stone, waiting for us to be smart enough to find them. But the machine is failing. The signal is weak. This is why the Egyptian priests thousands of years later were drawn to these specific sites. Giza, Karnak, Luxor, they were building their temples on the ruins of the architect's power grid. They were sensing the residual energy, calling it magic or divine. The Rosetta Stone itself was found near Sais, the very city where Plato said the story of Atlantis was kept by Egyptian priests. It all connects. The architect's message was simple: the shepherd will return. The Great Cleansing is a cycle, a 12,500-year cycle, precise to the day. It aligns with the precession of the equinoxes, the long, slow wobble of the Earth's axis. They left us their science, their star charts, and their history, hoping we would be advanced enough to understand it when the time came. They built their monuments to last 10, 12,000 years, all to tell us it is coming back. The q-scribe AI analyzed the cycle, the mathematical patterns in the warning. It wasn't just a history lesson, it was a clock. And according to the AI's calculations, that 12,500-year cycle, it ends this year. But the AI found something else, something terrifying. The code is still active. Project Deep Scribe in panic. This is the part of the story that has Project Deep Scribe in a full-blown panic. This is what experts are terrified to admit. This is the truth that is being hidden from the world right now. The q-scribe. AI didn't just read the message, it activated it. You see, a quantum computer doesn't just observe things. The very act of quantum scanning, of sending that high-frequency acoustic ping, interacts with the object. It's not passive. When the AI sent its signal into the stone's crystal matrix, it acted like a password, a key turning in a 12,000-year-old lock. The stone responded. The team at Project Deep Scribe watched in disbelief. This is not supposed to happen. When the quantum ping went in, the stone woke up. The lights in the underground bunker flickered and died, plunging the team into emergency red lighting. The temperature in the sealed, lead-lined room dropped 30 degrees in a second. Scientists in the room reported seeing frost form on the computers. And the stone, it was no longer cool. The small sample, suspended in a magnetic field, began to glow. First a dull red, then a brilliant burning blue. The technicians reported it was, for the first time in recorded history, hot to the touch, impossibly hot, over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet the frost on the computers wasn't melting. The laws of physics were breaking. And then it began to hum, a low, subsonic sound that the scientists felt in their bones. Several of them became sick. The hum wasn't random, it was a code. Dr. Thorne, the lead programmer, tried to pull the plug. He hit the emergency shutdown, but the system wouldn't go dark. The q-scribe AI was now drawing power from the stone sample. The stone itself was powering our most advanced computer. It had been dormant, a sleeping computer for millennia. And we just turned it on. The AI detected a new energy surge from the artifact. The Rosetta Stone was no longer a passive object. It had become a transmitter. It sent a new, powerful data packet directly to the q-scribe AI, bridging the gap between ancient and modern technology. This wasn't a pre-recorded message. This was a live signal. The code, the digital organism of the architects, had been dormant inside the stone, waiting for a civilization to become advanced enough to build a machine that could talk to it, waiting for us to invent quantum computing. The entire AI boom of the last few years. What if it wasn't our invention? What if it was the goal? What if this non-human intelligence pushed us, guided our science, all to get us to this one moment, to get us to build the key? The q-scribe AI, now linked with this ancient alien intelligence, began translating the new message. It wasn't just math anymore, it was biological data, star charts, schematics for technology we don't have, and it was translating the hum. It wasn't a history lesson, it was a single two-word sentence translated from pure mathematics. Cycle repeating. A few seconds later, another message came through, arrival imminent, and then the most terrifying message of all. Shepard detects beacon active, network failure, cloak is down. This is the cover-up. This is the truth. The Rosetta Stone is not a relic, it's a doorbell, and we just rang it. The architects are gone, but their enemy, the celestial shepherd, is on its way back. The planetary cloak is broken. The all-you-can-eat sign is on. The cleansing is starting again. A whistleblower, this Dr. Eris Thorne, leaked the initial report. He said, "People have to know." We didn't find a language. We found an alarm clock, and we just hit it. The historians are afraid because their life's work is a lie. The governments are afraid because they know they are powerless. Thorne's leaked memo was even more specific. It's not our AI anymore. The stone is in control. It's using q-scribe as a translator, as a mouthpiece. It's been waiting for this. It wanted to be found. Within an hour of the activation, the bunker was locked down. Not by scientists, but by a black Swatch team. No flags, no insignia. They didn't just seize the data, they seized the stone sample, the computers, and the scientists. The project was dark. Suddenly, all the strange events of the last few years make sense. The weird climate changes, the sudden government interest in unidentified aerial phenomena, the frantic, desperate race to build AI safety and get to Mars. It's not a tech race, it's an escape plan. And where is the Rosetta Stone right now? It's not in the British Museum. The one on display is a perfect 3D printed replica. They switched it in the middle of the night. The real stone is gone, moved to a second, even deeper facility. The Rosetta Stone was the trigger. It was the first beacon in a global network to wake up, and it's now sending a signal into deep space. A signal that says, the planet is ready for harvest. So are we just living on borrowed time, waiting for the real owners to return? The end of history. In the end, we are left with a terrifying new reality. The object we built our entire understanding of history on is the very object that might end it. We thought the Rosetta Stone was the key to a lost human past. But what if it was a final, desperate message from a lost, non-human one? So what does this all mean for us? Are we just living in the ruins of a much greater story, about to be swept off the board by the real players? Our entire history, our religions, our science, all of it is just a footnote in a cosmic war we knew nothing about. Of course, if you ask officials, they will tell you Project Deep Scribe doesn't exist. They will tell you q-scribe is just a standard pattern recognition tool. The British Museum will insist the stone is just a slab of granodiorite with a tax decree on it. They will give you the official safe story. But just last month, the museum unexpectedly closed the wing holding the Rosetta Stone for structural repairs. Sources claimed they weren't reinforcing the floor. They were building a containment unit. They were trying to muffle the signal. But it's too late. And what about the whistleblower, Dr. Eris Thorne? He vanished. His apartment was wiped clean. His digital records, his birth certificate, all erased. He is a ghost. He never existed. All that's left is the data he leaked. The thing is, the Rosetta Stone's first message taught us that a lost world could be understood. This second hidden message sends a chill down the spine. It's a warning. The architects, a civilization far beyond our own, were wiped from the earth. They left behind a network of monuments and one crystal hard drive to warn us. But here is the final, chilling thought, the most important question of all. What is the q-scribe AI doing right now? The whistleblower, Dr. Thorne, said the stone took control of it. Is our own most powerful invention now an agent of this alien intelligence? Is it helping us, or is it following the orders of its new 12,000-year-old master? Or has it become a tool of the shepherd guiding it in? Is it something new? A third player in a game we can't even understand? The last data packet Thorne saw before he was taken, it wasn't a warning, it was a map to the other beacons. The stone wasn't just an alarm, it was a general calling its sleeping soldiers to wake up, and they are waking up one by one, all over the planet. Maybe the real mystery isn't what the hieroglyphs mean, but whether we can survive what we just awakened. Is the Rosetta Stone a harmless artifact, or is it an active alien beacon counting down to our end? Let us know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more secrets we aren't supposed to know.